A lot of preppers and DIY enthusiasts are asking themselves, is the water freedom system legit? As this homemade device continues to gain traction online and in off-grid communities, it's easy to see why there's so much curiosity around it. Any system that claims to pull usable water straight from the air naturally raises questions. In today's video, we're going to take a closer, detailed look at that question and give you a clear, informed answer based on how the system actually works. Before we dive deeper, if you're curious and want to test the setup yourself, you can do that pretty easily. Just tap the direct access link in the description below to instantly download the PDF files with the complete water freedom system blueprints. That gives you the exact layout, parts list, and instructions so you can evaluate everything hands-on rather than relying on second-hand opinions. Now back to the main question. Is the water freedom system legit? The short answer is yes, and the reason is straightforward. The system is based on principles that have been used for decades in modern dehumidifiers. These are not experimental or unproven ideas. They're well-established processes rooted in basic physics. The key difference is in how those principles are applied. Traditional dehumidifiers are designed to regulate indoor humidity levels to make air more comfortable, whereas the water freedom system is optimized specifically to condense as much moisture as possible from the air. Instead of balancing humidity, it pushes the process further, extracting water and releasing drier air back into the environment. This adaptation is what sets the concept apart, and it's attributed to Richard Wilson, a 46-year-old third-generation farmer, and Jason Mitchell, a licensed electrical engineer. Their approach focuses on maximizing output rather than comfort, which is why the design has attracted attention from people interested in self-reliance and off-grid living. To understand why this works, it helps to look at the science behind condensation. Air always contains some level of moisture, even in environments that feel relatively dry. When warm air comes into contact with a cold surface, its capacity to hold moisture decreases, causing water vapor to condense into liquid form. This is the same effect you see when droplets form on the outside of a cold glass on a warm day. Dehumidifiers use this principle by pulling air across cooled coils. As the air cools, water condenses and collects, and the remaining air, now drier, is released back into the room. Inside both a standard dehumidifier and the water freedom system, you'll typically find a compressor, condenser coils, evaporator coils, and a fan. The compressor circulates refrigerant through the system, enabling the cooling process. The evaporator coils are where warm air loses heat, and moisture condenses into water droplets. These droplets then drip into a collection container. The condenser coils help release heat back into the air, allowing the cycle to continue efficiently. What the water freedom system does differently is emphasize the efficiency of that cycle for water production. By adjusting airflow, coil exposure, and operating conditions, the system prioritizes maximum condensation rather than maintaining a specific humidity range. That's one of the key insights most videos miss. This isn't a completely new invention, but rather a focused adaptation of an existing and reliable technology. Another important aspect is water quality. The condensed water collected from the air is relatively pure, but it can still pick up contaminants from surfaces within the system. That's why many setups, including those outlined in the Water Freedom System blueprints, recommend connecting the output to a sediment filtration system. This typically involves multiple stages, such as a basic sediment filter to remove particles, followed by carbon filtration to improve taste and remove potential impurities. With proper filtration, the collected water can be made suitable for everyday use. There's also the question of energy consumption, which is especially relevant for those interested in off-grid setups. Like any system that uses a compressor, this type of device requires electricity to operate. However, one of the practical advantages highlighted in the Water Freedom System approach is its compatibility with solar power. By pairing the device with a solar panel system and a battery storage setup, it becomes possible to run it independently of the grid. This makes it particularly appealing for remote locations, emergency preparedness scenarios, or anyone looking to reduce reliance on traditional water sources. Efficiency will always depend on environmental conditions. Higher humidity levels generally result in greater water output, while very dry climates may produce less. Temperature also plays a role, as warmer air can hold more moisture, which can then be condensed. Understanding these variables is essential when evaluating how the system might perform in your specific location. If you're interested in exploring this further, the best way to form your own opinion is to look at the actual design and see how it all comes together. You can do that by tapping the direct access link in the description below to instantly download the PDF files with the complete Water Freedom System blueprints. Having access to the full plans allows you to assess the components, understand the setup process, and decide whether it aligns with what you're looking for. So, to wrap things up, is the Water Freedom System legit? Based on the underlying science and the way it adapts proven dehumidification technology, the answer is yes. It's a practical application of condensation principles, supported by accessible components and adaptable to different setups, including filtered output and solar-powered operation. While performance can vary depending on conditions, the concept itself is grounded in well-understood mechanics, making it a credible option worth considering for those interested in alternative water solutions.